Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Eastchester Board of Fire Commissioners for Wednesday, November 20th, 2019. Tonight's meeting was called to order at 7 o'clock and immediately went into executive session. And we are now resuming the public portion of our meeting. And I will start that with approval of the minutes. The board has received and reviewed the minutes prepared by our secretary and will move to approve them. I would make a motion for the approval of both the October 15, 2019 regular meeting minutes and the October 30th, 2019 special meeting minutes. I would ask for a second. Mr. Rory?
I'll just abstain from the 19th.
Okay.
The 30th.
All right. Okay, that's no problem. That would be, so, all in favor of approving those?
202 Alpine Place in Tuckahoe, between Crescent
And
Place and
Mr.
the dead end
Winter will abstain.
for Arm Pain.
Okay.
Evac additional calls from 27202, 202 Alpine Place in Tuckahoe, between Crescent Place and the dead end, left sided Arm Pain, 1952.
Left side one painting, good.
Jamie? We'll go on to our treasurer's report.
Okay, great. So tonight we're looking at the financials through October 31st. They currently present a net budget surplus of approximately $778,000, which is exactly the same as last month, which shows that most of our expenses are trending where we expected, except for the few we've sort of highlighted, where it looks like we'll come in under for the year. Our professional consultant fees have been fairly low. Our vehicle maintenance, which we expected with the new purchases, our building repairs, physician costs, and our workers' compensation. And again, our certs have come in lower than we expected. We've only paid out not even half of, I think, what we expected this year, but we do have many in the queue that have not been finalized yet for payment. And then again, our Treasury direct earnings, which we did not anticipate. However, a few things looking at the budget for this year as well as next year's, I do want to recommend tonight that we make certain budget transfers and budget modifications. The transfers are really just some smaller items where we have line items that are over budget and we just want to move funds to put them into balance. And then the budget modifications relate to the appropriated funds that we anticipated spending in 2019 that now we've decided to spend in 2020. So that really, at last month's meeting when we decided to move forward with the purchase of the ladder truck, however, we declined to prepay. So when we prepared our budget for 2019, we had anticipated the prepayment and we appropriated $1 million of spending for 2019. Since that's no longer going to be spent, really the more accurate thing to do would be to modify the 19 budget to remove that $1 million and then to add it into the 2020 budget for the correct amount that we know, the $1,114,984. That's just a modification. This is not changing the taxes being increased or any more revenue. It's just saying when we anticipate spending money that we already have available to us in our unreserved funds. So just again, since we know now that that's when the money is going to be spent, it would be more appropriate to present it that way. Otherwise, the budget transfers, which I know, Stu, you're going to read, again, they're fairly de minimis amounts. Some of them are just reallocating our professional consultant fees amongst the more specific, whether it's labor consultants versus lawyers versus some of our maybe like our outside accounting consultants. So I would ask for the board to make those transfers and modifications this evening.
Sure. All right, I'm going to read, I'll make a motion to approve the following budget transfers. Ask for a second once I'm finished reading them out. So from 3090.2 certiorari, $3,000 into 1110.5 outside services. From 3090.2 certiorari, $575.67 into 3412.1 retroactive salary. 3090.2 certiorari, $1,500 into 3130.04 office supplies. From 3090.2 certiorari of $1,000 into 3140.4 subscriptions. Subtotal of those certiorari transfers is $6,073.67. Additionally, from 3410.47 professional consultant fees, $1,500 into 3410.46 consultant fees. From 3410.47 professional consultant fees of the amount of $1,356.22 into 3410.48 labor consultant fees. Subtotal from professional consultant fees is $2,856.22, which brings the total budget transfers to $8,929.89, and I would look for a second on that.
Second that.
Mr. Winter, pull the board.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye.
Commissioner Roach.
Aye.
Commissioner Laurie.
Aye.
Commissioner Winter.
Aye.
Chairman Raven.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jamie.
And then the budget modifications as
Oh,
well.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh.
The real money.
All right, so here's our recommended 2019 budget modifications. Appropriate fund balance per 2019 budget modifications, $1,248,177.16, with a recommended budget modification of appropriated fund balance of $1 million. Make the new 2019 appropriated fund balance $248,177.16. Recommended 2020 budget modification. Appropriated fund balance per 2020 budget, which was approved on October 15, 2019, originally $0. The recommended budget modification of appropriated fund balance is an increase to $1,114,984. I would ask for a motion to approve that.
Now, motion to approve it?
Mr. Winter, and is there a
Second.
second? Mr. Roach, pull the board, please.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye.
Commissioner Roach.
Aye.
Commissioner Laurie.
Aye.
Commissioner Winter.
Aye.
Chairman Raven.
Aye. Okay.
Okay. So thank you for that. So just a couple of things. I mean, I anticipate at the end of the year, probably in January, potentially February, I think is when we did it last year, there may be some additional budget modifications just to clear out the year. I know we've been fortunate, it's November, we haven't spoken about overtime yet. I imagine that might come up then. We've had some long-term injuries I imagine Chief is gonna speak about. So that will be one thing we might see. And then depending on some of the purchases we have already approved this year, the Chief's car, the Cascade system, the radios, depending on the timing of that as well, we may see some encumbrances for next year, which is similar to appropriation. It'll just be, shown on our financials as money that we've already committed to spending based on certain contracts. So that's what I'm anticipating. Otherwise, Treasury Direct, we still have we have $8 million invested. You'll see at this month's meeting, we have our New York State retirement bill. So, some of the bigger expenses are starting to come in as we get to the end of the year. So I think, we're good right now with the $8 million in Treasury Direct. Unfortunately, the rates are continuing to decrease. They were about 1.5% as of last week. But again, still much higher than what we were getting, just having them sit in a checking account. So, continue to monitor that. And then, as we get to year end, there's certain things we're waiting on NYSHIP to release the rate schedule for next year. Once that comes out, we will make the appropriate notification to the retirees that pay us directly, as well as our employees who are contributing. And Medicare Part B reimbursements will be made at this, second half of December, so that'll be part of the warrants for next month's meeting. And then I mentioned we do have the retirement bill. It is in tonight's warrant. We get a slight discount for prepaying by December 15th. As far as I know, we've always taken advantage of that. So I did include it in the bills at the amount for prepayment. It's exactly what the estimate was, the $2,020,319. Just pointing out that the rates do now seem to be steadily increasing. So the contribution rate per tier, while it is much lower when you're contributing for a tier 6 than a tier 2, we've seen 8 to 9% increases over the last 2 years in the rates. It is balanced somewhat by the fact that our tier 2 salary is going down, and maybe we anticipate if there's additional retirements, it will continue to go down. So, again, not that any of that's in our control, but just to make the comment that, the contribution rates are trending upwards. I think 1 year I was here and we did see them go down, but now they seem to be steadily, increasing.
The driver for that is, just so, I think I've said this numerous times,
Yeah.
but the driver for that is New York State uses about a 7.5% actuarial rate that they're gonna earn on their pension system. When they don't earn the 7.5%, the local municipality has to make up the difference.
Right.
And they do it over an average, I'm not sure, about maybe 3 or 4 years. So last year, you kind of had a flat stock market, therefore, the municipality has to make up the 7.5%. It's actually one of the best funded pension systems in the country, and probably one of the best managed pension systems in the country, just because they have the ability to get the local municipality to write the check. So, looking out of the markets this year, they're probably going to level off again, because it's just a lagging, you can guess how well they're going to do by how well the markets do a year down the road.
Yeah.
So they raise their rates if the markets goes flat, and if you had a real tailspin in the market, your rates could go up 2 or 3 years down the road.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, thanks so much.
Sure.
Okay, so with that said, we're gonna do our payment of the bills. The board has reviewed this month's bills and warrants, and we'll make a motion to pay them. The first set of warrants is dated November 7th, 2019, which total $3,607.79. Second set of warrants dated November 14, 2019, total $14,522.40. Third set of warrants dated November 20th, 2019, total $2,293,131.79. And we have a credit card bill dated November 18th, 2019, that totals $1,406.47, bringing this month's grand total to $2,312,668.45. Would anybody like to make a motion to pay those bills?
Make that motion?
Anybody
Second.
second? Mr. Roach, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, great. Thank you so much. Chief, your report.
Thank you, Commissioner. The alarm activity for October 2019 was 316 alarms. Fire was 8. Fire-related was 8. EMS and rescue-related, 170. We gave mutual aid to the city of Mount Vernon one time, and we received mutual aid from New Rochelle Fire Department at the fatal fire that we had on Main Street in October. Thank you for their assistance. The delivery of the 26 new portable radios that were ordered last month were delayed as Motorola shipped the wrong units to our local vendor, and they had to be returned. They anticipate delivery of the correct radios in approximately 2 weeks. Then they have to go out for engraving for a week, so hopefully sometime in December, we'll get those new portables in service. Maintenance mechanic Tim Dalton is busy with several projects. The first floor flat roofs at fire headquarters have been replaced by Salvatore & Sons Roofing. The new boiler was delivered today, and the installation should begin tomorrow at Station 3 by the plumbers that we've hired. And Station 4, the electric baseboard heat that we're putting in as a temporary solution, is scheduled to go in next Wednesday, November 27th. So that is the building things that Tim has been busy coordinating with the contractors. The vehicle maintenance continues through the use of outside vendors. The 2 surplus apparatus have been picked up by the winning bidders, and they have been removed from our insurance policy. The new ladder truck from Pierce has been ordered and should be delivered sometime in September of 2020. Fire prevention and code enforcement activities continue with numerous plan reviews and inspections. October is Fire Prevention Month, so they're very busy working in the local schools. And he also did a fire safety forum at the Stoneleigh Apartments in Bronxville for the residents, and I heard back from the organizer that it was very well received and they appreciated it.
We haven't been getting those reports though.
Has he not been sending them to
I
you?
have
I guess you have
Forward them
to
to the commissioners?
email them.
Thank you.
Okay. Currently, there are 3 members out on long-term absence, and 1 member continues to work on restricted duty. The new chief's car delivery had been delayed due to the strike at General Motors. The strike is now over, and hopefully the 2020 Chevy Tahoe is on its way to the local emergency lighting dealer for light, siren, and radio installation. On that note, I ask the board to approve 2 radio purchases for the new chief's car, a Motorola APX 6500 UHF mobile radio, and equipment necessary for installation for $3,177, and a second quote for a Motorola XPR 5550E VHF radio and equipment for $1,038.74. 64 members have attended the cultural competence training provided by Westchester County Employee Assistance Program. The instructor, Pamela Jones-Bryce, and the training was mostly well received. Some members missed the training due to vacation, sickness, or long-term absence. I'll try to schedule another class for the remaining members. If Pamela is unable to coordinate a time, she said that there was an online option for the class at a nominal cost. One of the things that we got in the feedback was that this training room is a little uncomfortable to be sitting in these chairs for a 2-3 hour class. So maybe we have to look into getting more comfortable chairs for the longer training sessions. But as far as her presentation, all the comments on the surveys were very well
Take that under
appreciated.
advisement.
In October and November, approximately 16 members attended a 32-hour rope operations training course. In 2017, Captain Dempsey has been representing the Eastchester Fire District on a technical rescue task force involving Lower Westchester career departments, and he's been coordinating training with that, having to do with collapse training, confined space training, and rope rescue training. So for the last 2 years, we have approximately 16 members. We chose 4 people from each group at the time. And so that hopefully if we get one of those technical rescue incidents, we'll have somebody on scene that's had additional training that can help start the emergency operations. Let's see. Full department training days are tentatively scheduled for December 10th and 11th, where they can do live burn training up at Westchester County Fire Training Center. December 10th, it's going to be Group 1 and 4, and on the 11th, it's going to be Groups 2 and 3. Hopefully, it won't be too cold out, and they'll be able to flow water. If not, we can do like thermal imaging camera training and simulated fire training. And Local 916 Safety Committee, Health and Safety Committee has requested a meeting and asked if December 2nd or December 6th is possible. In the CBA, it says that we have a safety committee and that 3 members of the local and the chairman, the chief, and one of the commissioners, usually I guess the career commissioner, should try to have meeting. It says every
Yep.
quarter.
Yeah, we adjusted that for the new CBA.
So we try to do it at least once a year
Yep.
in the past, so they're asking before the year's out if we
Absolutely.
could try to coordinate.
We'll coordinate that with them, sure.
What day of the week are those?
I honestly am not sure.
Is it Monday? Is the second? Is it Monday? I believe?
Okay,
No, it's
Monday.
Okay,
We'll
so
figure it
yeah,
out.
we'll coordinate a day
Yeah.
when we can
That's fine.
get a meeting together.
problem.
That's the end of my report.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Chief. With that said, I'm just gonna move on and introduce 2 motions for the authorization for the chief to purchase these 2 pieces of radio equipment. The first one off of the state contract is for Motorola Solutions, the amount of $3,177. That is the Motorola APX 6500 UHF mobile radio and equipment for same. So I would ask somebody to make a motion to approve that.
Second.
All right, Mr. Roach, thank you. I'll make the motion, Mr. Roach will
sorry.
second it. Poll the board, if you will, please.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye.
Commissioner Roach.
Aye.
Commissioner Laurie.
Aye.
Commissioner Winter.
Aye.
Chairman Raven.
Aye. The second motion, I'll make the motion. This is to permit the chief to purchase from ESS, located at 250 Clearbrook Road, Elmsford, New York, 10523, the VHF radio and all of its necessary equipment for an amount of $1,038.74, and we're looking for a second.
Second.
Mr. Laurie, thank you, and poll the board if you will.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye.
Commissioner Roach.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Laurie.
Aye.
Commissioner Winter.
Aye.
Chairman Raven.
Aye, okay, there you go, chief.
Thank
All right. And thanks for your report, appreciate it.
You're well
We're
connected.
gonna move on to gym equipment maintenance. So provide a motion to empower the chairman or his designated to execute an equipment maintenance agreement with fitness machine technicians to provide routine maintenance of district cardio equipment and be available to repair and any pieces of cardio equipment, gym equipment, or replace parts. It stipulates that this agreement shall only be executed once, as it has once it has been properly reviewed and vetted by our legal representation and all language and terms have been approved. The annual fee for this agreement is $500, which does not include the cost of repairs, labor, or parts, but it does include on-site visitation twice a year to check oil levels, performance, and I guess the end of life for preventing end of life for our equipment. Again, this would be completely dependent upon our legal team reviewing the contract again and vetting and making sure that it's okay. We wouldn't sign it before that. I would make that motion to allow for us to enter into that with those stipulations and ask for a second.
Second.
All right, poll the board, please.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Commissioner Roach?
Aye.
Commissioner Lori?
Aye.
Commissioner Winter?
Aye.
Chairman Raven?
Aye. All right, the chief was good enough to give us some updates on Chester Heights and Bronxville, which is great. We did have a meeting with UES. We are very, 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 very focused on getting some paperwork from UES in December, which would be the potential engineering specs on how to move forward. First of, I guess we will call this phase 3.1, which will be our interior of Chester Heights, which would include the floor, the apparatus ceiling, the basement, the water mitigation issues down there, and the HVAC system within the entire unit, whether it be the first floor or the second floor. With that said, I would also point to the board that we should prospectively approve the change order from UES in the amount of $16,650 to allow for the engineering specs to be provided for the heating system in that building. So I would make a motion to approve that. It was provided to us in time for our last special meeting, and we tabled it. So would anybody like to have any discussion on whether or not you want to approve it? $16,650 for the change order from UES, specifically for the HVAC system in Chester Heights, first floor and what they call second floor dormitory on those blueprints. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Mr. Roach, and discussion, any further discussion on that?
No, I'd only mention that we had the special meeting, and we quickly organized an oil burner in Bronxville that's being put in this week, which was part of that special meeting we had this week, I guess it was, or last week.
Last week.
We had the special meeting, and it worked out rather quickly how we got all that done at a reasonable price compared to the other prices we were getting, and that was all good.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right, so it's a motion to approve and empower the chairman or his designate and the board to execute an additional work authorization between the Eastchester Fire District and Universal Engineering Services, PC, to expand the scope of work in Chester Heights Station 4 located on Oregon Avenue in the town of Eastchester to include a new HVAC system for the dormitory and space on the building's second floor, which will include heating and cooling load calculations for the entire firehouse, the design and layout of a new HVAC system in accordance with New York State Building, Mechanical, and Energy Conservation Codes and the board's requirements, and the preparation of all construction documents, including technical specification for filing and board review. The total cost for this work is, $16,550. So I would make a motion to approve that and look for a second.
Second.
All right, Mr. Roach, you pull the board, please, Lisa.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Commissioner Roach?
Aye.
Commissioner Lori?
Aye.
Commissioner Winter?
Aye.
Chairman Raven?
Aye, okay. I think that's it for the houses.
Well, I have one question about Bronxville. Now, we previously approved Bronxville's roof improvement, and then there was an adjustment there that we didn't approve yet.
Right.
But are we gonna go back to the Bronxville's buildings department's idea that just send a contractor up there, and if we don't need an engineer, we'll go without an engineer. If we do, then we'll move forward?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we're
just want
gonna
to get the
probably,
boiler done and then move on to Chester Heights. But yeah, I mean, We spoke to the building inspector there, must have been a year ago, when he had said that we could move forward with that. And then we had our last meeting.
Last spring.
We had a meeting in Bronxville where they talked about having to probably reutilize those Yankee gutters that are in the building. But I think that's basically where we left it at this point, because we became so focused on the boiler and the Chester Heights
Emergency
war.
work first, of
So,
course.
yeah, I mean, I don't think the Bronxville roof is going out of the scope of work. I think it's just, it's on its list. I mean, once the boiler's done, we could certainly revisit with the building department, ask for the gentleman to come by and take a look at it. And
Okay.
have a meeting with him and just say, hey, what should we do? Should we rip it? I mean, the only thing I would hate to do is rip the roof at this time of year and then find
no,
out.
we're
we
not
need-
talking about that.
We don't
Paul
wanna
said
say-
it's next
we don't wanna-
spring, right?
Well, we
We
don't wanna
agreed
leave
on
it
that.
open.
Yeah.
And then find out, like the way I said, oh, you could rip it open, and then if you find that you need an engineer, then you do it then. Then we have an open roof and a tarp, and now instead of having a little bit of a water issue if it rains and we're moving as fast as we usually do, now the only thing between the second floor and the rain is probably a blue tarp. So it's a good question, but I guess we could spend the winter looking into it.
Yeah, so I'll just mention or put a note that we have one more open-ended addition with UES that we've not
Yeah,
approved.
That's
yet.
true, yeah.
And we can wait till spring to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
all right. Okay. In the next week, the Eastchester Fire District will see the retirement of another lieutenant this year, Paul Ranello. I'm certain that between now and our next meeting in December, the board will have plenty of time to communicate how grateful we are for Paul and his service to the district and this town, in both the capacity as a volunteer and a career member of the district for well over 30 years. He and his family are pillars in our local community in both local business and personal service. Although we do have Paul on payroll for one more week, I will say thank you again for your service, bravery, and dedication to the people of Eastchester, and I'm positive your peers in Local 916 feel exactly the same way and will in their own way express their gratitude for being a model firefighter and lieutenant for this district and for those men and women who joined the ranks after you. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, but I'm quite sure you will remain very close to us in your professional retirement. In light of Paul's pending retirement and the earlier retirement of Kevin Grogan over the summer, the board took the opportunity to sit down and interview 4 candidates to fill the role of lieutenant and are looking to confirm the promotion of David Stuffle in August, and has now agreed to promote an additional candidate to replace the leaving Paul Ranello. I have before me a motion to promote a firefighter. So the firefighter the board is moving to promote is firefighter Tina Kapoor Martinez, date of hire 8/30/1997, to the rank of lieutenant, effective December 7, 2019, at the starting salary of $108,017.21. The candidate appears on the current civil service list number 71-342, which was established on October 14, 2016. And I would make that motion, and I would ask for a second. Okay, Mr. Carl, and I would allow for discussion, if anybody wanted to say anything in addition.
Every time you do a hire or promotion, it's always a grueling decision because the candidates they present extremely well. They're just really, really difficult to pick between one over the other. And it's a blessing we have the high quality of caliber of people who are candidates that we interview. So it goes back to, I guess, when the selection process happened early on for these folks when they first got hired. The board did a good job selecting people for the positions they have here. And so these are all tough decisions for the board, and they're not done lightly. And we're just blessed to have the candidates we have. And Tina won the day today, but these other folks shouldn't feel discouraged. They're high-quality people.
Yes, we have very high-quality candidates, and it is a difficult decision. And there's a lot of conversations that go into it, a lot of debates, but we can't make a bad decision, because we have great candidates. All right, so Lisa, if you would, please poll the board.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Commissioner Roach?
Aye.
Commissioner Laurie?
No.
Commissioner Winter?
Aye.
Chairman Raven?
Aye. All right, well, congratulations to Tina. Hope to see some great things. We'll move on to, Lisa, is there any additional election information or update you want to give?
Just that December 3rd is the last day to receive the application for the absentee ballot if it were to be mailed. and December 9th is the last day to receive it if it's delivered personally.
Okay, great,
Other
thank you.
than that, good.
All right, wonderful. And the election is December 10th?
Yes.
Okay.
The election's
It's a-
December 10th from 2 PM to 9 PM.
Right, and what are the polling places?
Leroy Gregory.
Right,
Bronxville Village Hall, Eastchester Town Hall, and
Tuckahoe
Tuckahoe
Community
Community
Center.
Center.
Okay.
Town Hall will also consist of the
Chester Heights.
Yes, Chester Heights will also be meeting at Town Hall. All right, I don't see anyone from Local 916 here, so it means they're doing well.
They have their meeting today.
So they're doing well. Commissioner reports, Mr. Carlo?
None this evening?
All right, Mr. Roach?
Nope.
No? All right, Mr.
Congratulations, Tina.
Right.
I just have a comment, if I can make one.
Sure.
There's been, David McKay Wilson, a journalist for the Journal News, has been writing a series of articles about the property taxes in Eastchester and the discrepancies because of the tax roll. For the Eastchester town tax roll is 1941. And the town supervisor has been basically saying it's not a good idea to reassess, and I could agree with the town supervisor 100% on this. I did a tax study in 2014 where I took every property, single-family home in Bronxville, and I compared it, the town roll versus the Bronxville roll. And as you know, Bronxville's been reassessed, there's a rolling reassessment every 3 years. The Bronxville tax roll that Bronxville does is for the school district and the village. So when the Bronxville tax roll, they have the school district and the village. The town of Eastchester has a tax roll in Bronxville, that it does for Bronxville as well, where it does the sewer system, the taxes gets there, your fire district tax is there, your county tax is on that roll. Tuckahoe is similar in the sense that the town of Eastchester does those same things, has a, because I may not be explaining this so well, but there's two sets of tax rolls in town. There's the town tax roll for the township of, the town outside of Eastchester, there's a tax roll for Bronxville, and there's a tax roll for the village of Tuckahoe. So there's a disparity between the two rolls because they're two different rolls. Bronxville's roll is updated regularly, the town's roll gets updated as people do home improvements. So the people who do home improvements in Bronxville are not getting off the hook. Those improvements are being recognized because the town of Eastchester monitors the building permits in Bronxville and then sends an assessor by to update the town roll. So while it's an older roll, it is being modified fairly regularly. And in the last 15 years, the taxes have shifted more towards Bronxville and a little less towards Eastchester. I'm not talking dramatically, but they shift. And they shift because of these reassessments. So roughly 35% of your taxes, your town fire district taxes, 35% of the fire district is paid for by Bronxville. About 15% is paid by Tuckahoe. And about 50%, or maybe it's about 52% is Eastchester. So if Eastchester was to reassess their roll only, just so they could say they have an updated roll, and the rest of Westchester County does not reassess, we're going to pick up a larger percentage of the Westchester County tax, which is a large portion of our tax bill in the town. So unless the county of Westchester decides to reassess the whole county, the hands are tied for the town board because it's just going to absorb a larger cost for the whole county. The village of Bronxville was able to reassess their village without affecting Tuckahoe or the town outside of Eastchester because their tax roll only equated to the village hall in Bronxville and the school district. That's not the case for the town board. So when you see these articles by Mr. Wilson saying there's a large disparity between houses in Bronxville and houses in the rest of this, it's not 100% correct. I sent him my data from 2014 before he printed his article because he knows I've been a tax person and somebody reached out to me. But I agree with the town supervisor. It's not good for the town board to consider reassessing when the whole county doesn't reassess. And people who have had massive construction done on their houses in Bronxville are paying for it. And in the past year, since SALT was passed, salt standing for state and local taxes are not deductible, up to over $10,000, your very high-priced homes in the community have taken a beating. I mean, a substantial beating. So you're seeing houses that are on the Bronxville Village tax roll for $6.5 million on the market for $4.5 million, or 20% less, or 25% less. So those houses are being substantially overtaxed today. I'm sure they will all file grievances. So it's not clear to me when this eventual reassessment happens that the high-priced homes are still going to be the high-priced homes, because houses that have very high taxes are very undesirable right now. And so that is going to make a dramatic change to all these projections people are doing. And that's just my point on the taxes. And people want to email me, I'll email them, and give them data. That's what it is.
All right, thank you. Just a couple of things for me. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Just a couple of things for me. Thanks you to 916 for inviting all of us to the memorial breakfast back earlier in the month. It was always a great time to be there with everyone and reflect on those people who have passed on, who have been part of this district, and they do a great job. The committee does a wonderful job planning it at Fogarty's and putting that breakfast together. It's always great, and we always wish them the best of luck in doing it each year, so thanks again. Earl also, about a week or so ago for Veterans Day, we went to the program at Parkway Oval. The veterans did an outstanding job. I like to see how the crowd there gets larger and larger each year, so kudos to Mr. Laurie and all of your former veterans, current local veterans. Thank you for your service, obviously, and thank you for always putting this on so we have a chance to connect and reflect. 2, 3 other things. Our next meeting will be December 12th in the Bronxville Village Hall, and there's also going to be a special meeting at which time we'll be recognizing our employees with numerous service awards for the years 2018 and 90% or so of 2019. The district will also host a reception at the conclusion of that program in the Bronxville Firehouse. So members, their families, and the public are all invited and encouraged to come out and join us for the meeting and for the reception. As what has become now a tradition about 3 years or so now, I'd like to make a very important motion, even though it's not usually necessary, but it's good to put it on the record. A motion that is going to grant permission for Local 916, the use of our 5 firehouses as drop-off locations for their Toys for Tots philanthropy in 2019. I would make that motion and ask for a second on that. Mr. Rosa, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, they always do a great job. They're the #1 Toys for Tots collector in the county of Westchester. And we're very proud of that. We're proud of Frank Nanarello and all of his other elves that help collect those things from all over, from town hall to the firehouses to everybody. So great. And the only other thing is have a happy and safe Thanksgiving.
I have.
Oh, Mr. Laurie, sorry.
I know it's leaf season, and I know we just reported every year, don't block the hydrants. A couple of weeks ago, I was going up Waller Street, and on the top of Waller Street, I even reported it to the mayor. There's a house being renovated up there. When the evening was over, the man piled his junk out there. He piled 6 pallets against the fire hydrant and 2 right on top of it. This morning I passed by there, you couldn't even see the hydrant, it was covered with cardboard. I mean, I don't know if we could ever find this guy, chief, but all around town, people think it's the greatest thing, piled their junk next to the fire hydrant. The place on Mill Road where he repairs computers and stuff, I happened to be going to the cleaners the other day, he had all his garbage piled right on top of the fire hydrant. I mean, God forbid if we have a fire, it's only delaying the firefighters to put their hoses and connecting to that fire hydrant. You people who think that that's the place to drop off your leaves or pile your trash, and contractors who think that they can pile whatever they want against that, you're wrong, and it's gonna cause great damage, and somebody's gonna get hurt. And I know I keep saying this every meeting, but somebody's gonna get hurt if you continue doing that throughout the whole town. Whether it be Eastchester, Tucker, or Bronxville. please do not pile on the fire hydrants, okay? The other thing I want to say to everyone, have a happy, healthy Thanksgiving, and don't forget to go out and vote for commissioner in December. Thank you.
Okay. All right, with that, I make a motion to move into executive session for a personnel matter. Ask for a second on that.
Second.
Oh, Mr. Roy. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you.